All right. So we should be live. Just gonna double check. All right. Testing. All right. Testing. Perfect. All right. I can hear myself. How's it going, guys? Welcome to another live stream. It's for Ranger Development. So in the last few live streams, we've actually been able to do quite a bit of work. We were able to work on pretty much all of the things that led up to the latest devlog about tiles. So today we're actually going to be working on the next devlog, devlog 12, which is all about animation. Hi, The Good Game. Hi, Identic. How's it going? Thanks for joining us this morning. All right, so in the next devlog, devlog 12, we're going to be talking a lot about animation. And actually, I should just show you guys what I was able to do inside of Unity. All right, so right here, I'm gonna press play and we're gonna actually see three different instances of the player. Hi, Waffle Dev, how's it going? Thanks, man. Thanks for the sub. So, yeah, it really means a lot. Thank you. All right, so these two other instances of the player are actually, that's kind of what we've been working on. So this one right here, I'm gonna move it around that way you know which one I'm talking about. So this one right here that has kind of the boundaries of the player. This one is actually multiple sprites that get merged and then created into a new sprite. Let's open up that script and I can show you guys a little bit. Yeah, so it's not a 3-player game. It's just that we've got 3 copies of the player, and each one is a little different. And so that's what we're kind of talking about, is what makes them different. So here is our sprite merger. Pretty much what it does is it takes in, you know, how many sprites that we have, and it merges it by going, this is through for loops, going pixel by pixel and merging the two together. And then whatever is, you know, the alpha value, whatever is transparent is stayed as transparent, creates a new sprite, and it renders this out. So right now we have 3 different sprites that are being merged. We have the guide, so like the outline back here. Then we have the arms, and then we have the body. All of those are separate. Now, I decided to go ahead and make a different type also, because the main thing is that we need layers. That's why we're doing this. We need some layers in the character so that we can change cosmetic items. Let's say that we want to have a certain shirt with a certain pants, and so we need layers to be able to do that. That way I don't have to draw every single combination, but the game will make the combination. Wouldn't rendering each frame slow the game down? Yes. Yes, and that's why I think we're going to be going with this solution. So as you see, there's a few repeats here. We've got a few different layers. You know, I stacked multiple by accident, but this is pretty much what is happening. So we've got a body, and then we've got arms, and the body and arms just kind of click together, and that's how this one works. It's using multiple sprite renderers for this. And I think this is the one we're going to go with because, like you said, Identic, if we render every single pixel, create a new sprite every single pixel, it's going to be really rough, right? Performance is going to tank. Technically, we can kind of see that the performance already has tanked because this is usually, FPS is usually around 400 to 500. So yeah, it's not too good. Let's go ahead I remove the merge from happening. And we'll see if it gets any better. Also, I'm going to remove the extra ones. And then the main thing for today, what we're going to be working on is actually separating them inside of aSprite and kind of refining some of the animations. That's one thing we have to work on, is finalizing the animations. There's certain things that don't make really much sense. We're gonna have to fix that. All right, there we go. Yeah. So now, well, you know what? We're kind of still at the same spot. If I remove this, maybe there's something else that I'm missing. Maybe something else is destroying our FPS. You know what? It's probably because I'm streaming also. I just realized that. It's not gonna be the same as when I'm working on it without recording. All right, so yeah, so these, it seems like, you know, with that, there was a very minimal change in FPS. So we're gonna go with the multiple sprite renderers route. I think that's gonna be the best for performance. And so that's what brings us back to aSprite. So this is kind of a little test that I'm doing. Each of the layers are separated, but I've been kind of redrawing things so that I'm gonna have to re-separate them again. But this was like a test. I wanted to see if I could get a jacket. Check the stats to see what's slowing it down. Yeah, we can do that. Let's do that. If I'm not mistaken, there is quite a bit of a slowdown, and I think it's garbage collection. Or maybe not. No, garbage collection seems to be doing okay. It is others that is really slowing it down. So what is others doing? Here, let's expand this a little bit. You guys can see it better. Yeah, so the second biggest, so once we remove others, the biggest thing is scripts. And that's definitely true. We have a lot of different scripts doing a lot of different things, including like iterating through the tiles. But it should only happen once on a layer jump. So change of layers. And then of course rendering. Yeah, so I think it seems pretty normal. We'll have to figure out eventually what others means for us, why that is a problem. I think partially it's the Unity editor that's also put into other, so we would probably have to make a build and test it that way. But let's go ahead and get back into aSprite. So there's a few things that I changed here. If I remove this layer, it kind of fixes everything. So this is pretty much what our idle sprite is right now. And this is what I fixed. I think it's a fix. So you can tell, like on the leg here, the lighting didn't quite make sense. Like the boot was lit from this side. Now it's more like evenly lit in the sense where it has highlights on the edge where the light is actually coming from. We might actually make that a little bit more apparent. We can grab a lighter shade. How does that look? Does that look too much? It kind of looks too much, I think. Maybe not. I'll keep it like that for now. We can think about it. But this is what it was before. This is what it is after. And so I just wanted to, you know, test with a jacket. But we need to create some interesting clothing for this guy. That comes later, of course. the main thing we're gonna do right this second is create a true idol. So right now we still have cosmetic item. We have the pants and the boots that are going to be able to be changed later on. So what we need to do is just a base character with like just underwear or something, so that we can just add everything on top. So let's do that. Let's go. This was another test where I did a tank top, another clothing test that I did. I don't think it worked as well. Hey, I was planning to make some art for you, so can you pose once for reference? Ooh, pose once for reference. How should I pose? What about I send you on Discord a picture, and then you can draw that. What do you think of that? All right, yeah, that's what I'll do right after the stream. All right, so let's kind of like find where leg starts. I want to kind of follow this trajectory of the leg while kind of like not filling it up completely, because we have to remember that it's there's still clothing on top. Yeah, he is muscular. But I think that's it's probably because it'd be kind of difficult for this character to be able to do everything he's going to do in the game if he wasn't very strong and muscular. Oops, what was that? There we go. Okay, and then we can go actually all the way down to so we're kind of just, in a sense, tracing. It's really just to get the idea of the form, because we need to get his leg just like that. All right, now we can remove the legs. Kind of leaves us with this. All right, that's kind of odd leg type of shape. Right, something like that. And that. We can't see the muscular body because the jacket's on top. Maybe make the jacket a power up or something. We can still see the muscular body. Yes. So this is, I'm kind of making this like, if you've ever played Breath of the Wild, then you know how the clothes system works. You can change out like shirt, pants, helmet, and then you can also like remove it all. So that's how this is gonna be. So he'll start out really underpowered with, you know, clothing, but throughout the game you'll be able to collect cosmetic clothing items and buy some from different shops and things like that. And that's the plan. All right, so let's put a base coat here. We're gonna create this. Oops. We'll start with this leg because this is where the highlights will primarily be. Yeah, we're gonna try to make his legs muscular too. It's gonna be a little interesting because we still need to try to figure out a way to keep it within the form factor of his pants, because it'd be kind of weird if you remove his pants and then his legs are bigger than what they were. So something like that. A little of that. Kind of creates that curvature. And then we need that like darkening of the knee right there, you know? Something like that. Kind of makes sense, right? You're the only one watching this for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. I guess sometimes live streams don't do too well, but it helps me to stay focused, you know? Where's the butt? Well, that's back here, but we can't see it. I could kind of like hint to it by doing something like that. Just kind of putting down the coat of highlights. Okay, I think that's a pretty good spot to show that he's muscular, right there. Like that. A little bit of a knee right there. Kind of makes sense. Now the shin kind of goes in a bit. So maybe a little bit of a... Now it kind of looks like his leg's broken though, doesn't it? Kind of. So let's see, actually, have we been doing this all wrong? Should this foot have been actually turned around the whole time? Let's see. I think not so abruptly, you know? Like we need a little bit more like this. Like where it's facing out a little bit more. But I think doing something like this will kind of rebalance it a bit. Yes, so that's okay. Yeah, so you think that yeah, I think that looks better too. It makes more sense. Okay. So I'm kind of happy with that. I think that's pretty good. We could probably like add a little more stuff here, kind of show the shadows, shading, how it kind of curves in. Do I have a stream time? Like when does it start so you can get more viewers to watch it? Yeah, so every Monday at 7 a.m. I stream from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And so that's kind of what that's what I do. And it's super helpful. You know, I was just saying the other day that live streaming, it helps me to, you know, really get what I need to get done. You know, it helps me to get it done. Okay. What time zone? That's a good point. Pacific time zone, PST. I live in California. Let's see if I move this one down. Does that really do much? Yeah, it kind of does actually, doesn't it? Does that look better though? No, I think this is fine. All right, let's finish up the shading here. I'm liking what we got so far. I think it makes sense too, and that's what I like. I like when things make sense. I think I can help the shading a little bit if I kind of make this more circular. this highlight. It'll show that it's rounder. Something like that. Just trying to get some distance on it, you know, try to see it from afar, because we have to remember my game is going to zoom in and out at certain points, and we want to make sure that it looks cohesive. Like, does it look like it goes together? Do the legs and torso match? Does it make sense? That's what I'm looking for. And I think so far it's looking pretty good. Now, is there anything else that I need to figure out? Well, there is one thing that we could experiment with. Hey, Ashish Gamer, how's it going? Thanks for joining. All right, so technically on this side, if you look at the left arm and the left hand is darker, right? So what if we introduce that into this leg? Discord? Discord is up? Or asking if I have a Discord for the channel? Yeah, it should be in the description. That's what you're asking. You know, talking about Discord, I am trying to kind of update my Discord server, because it kind of, you know, I started it up a while ago, had some friends that joined, and then things kind of just died because I wasn't really doing much with the Discord server. But I really want to get back into it, because I think it's a great thing to... It really creates that more sense of community than... Oh, hold on. That was, yeah, a better sense of... Can you be admin? Let me get back to you on that. I am currently in the process of setting it up, so I don't think I need too much help actually setting it up, but I'll get back to you on that. Does that look too dark on the other leg? Or do you think that makes sense? Because the idea is that it's further away, so it's a little less important. Like, we're trying to make it less important or less visible, less bright, you know? So what do you think? We kind of zoom out. Does it look like it doesn't make sense? I think it helps. I think it should help. But should it be lighter in the background? Because after... no, I think it's good. I think that's good enough. I think maybe add that. Does that make it look better? Just kind of trying to round it out, make it, you know, really make it look like it's muscular. Yeah, I think we add this. I think that makes sense. I'm an expert. You can trust me. I trust you. I just rather set it up myself. You know, I need to learn how to run the Discord community because ideally people will go there and they'll be there to kind of talk about the game, talk to me about their projects. And so I want to make sure that I know how to set it all up and, you know, do it myself. Is the knee too... Oops. I think it's good. What do you guys think? You think this is done? This is good? I think it's all right. I think we could definitely make this work. All right, so we created legs. Now let's put back the other legs and see. Did we change it by a lot? We kind of did, didn't we? Now this leg is more in, which makes a lot more sense. And it helps us to really have an outline of the leg. So I think this is actually a great thing that we just did. Where we can see a lot more clearly what our shapes are looking like. Hey, good morning, Journey to Skills. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. We are working on the different animation layers that we're going to be introducing into the game. So, legs, boots, torso, arms, and head, and then the headgear. And so we're just making some more variations, really trying to make a base coat of the arms and torso. And I think we got to a point where the legs make sense, a little more sense than they used to. If we look at the old legs, this leg is kind of pointed out. It doesn't really make too much sense. We're not really sure where the leg ends. But with this one, makes a lot more sense. That curve there is much more realistic, I think. That is like a human's leg, like a human leg curve. I think it makes sense. Yeah, you like the new leg. That's good. Thanks. Still trying to really work this out to a point where we can use it pretty well. I was actually thinking the other day we should probably make like a T-pose just as the basic unanimated start frame. I think that would be pretty funny. It would just be used for development, but still, I think it's they'd be cool. I actually do want to do like a 360 of each body part. Donovo, welcome. Oh, thank you. He says, hey dude, this guy looks awesome. Any tips on how to make characters like this? Well, I'm really glad you like this character. Any tips? Well, I gotta tell you, the very first character that I made, I had this guy in my head. Like, I thought, okay, this is kind of what I'm gonna make, and I made something so completely different that it was terrible. It was terrible. I don't know if I don't think I have any pictures of, or like old art of that. Let's see if I do, and I can show you what I mean, and then I can kind of tell you how I fixed that. So we've got a few different references here. I think we have some of the old ones. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna find this. Because I do think I think the main piece of information or advice that I could give, that everybody gives, it's always the same advice, you know, start small. So when I first started, I tried to go a little too big, and I don't think I have, unfortunately, I don't think I have it. Yeah, I don't think it's somewhere, but I think it might be in an archive somewhere. I don't think I have it. But let me just, you know, I can actually probably pull it up on my screen. But yeah, I tried to go too big too quickly, and it didn't look good. So I scrapped it. I had to realize, okay, this looks like trash. And so what I focused on was more, what do I want the player to do? And so that's when I created a much smaller character. And we can see, if you ever go on my channel to like the playlist, there's a playlist called Ranger, where is it? Ranger Updates. Or maybe I removed that one. All right, so here, this is the very first. I'll show you guys this. All right, let's take a look at this. So this was the very first try at this character. And it was super duper like janky. It did not look that good. But you can still see some like inspiration, you know, from that time that is resurfacing. And I guess at that time I forgot to fix that. Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, for those kind of things, when you want anatomy, you want like, you know, the form, right? The main thing is references. Look for references. You can do that like on Pinterest, to look for other pixel art references. But eventually, what I realized is I need to focus more on what I wanted to do. And so that's when I came up with this smaller character. And I was working on him for quite a while. And I thought, oh, this is great. You know, I'm able to get him to do everything I want him to do. Until I started thinking again about how much I really liked having a larger character. Like, I could really animate him. I could make him a lot more interesting and more subtle animations. And so that's when I started working on this guy. And what I did was I took the best parts of both. I tried keeping the form factor of the first one, which I liked. but I kept all of the more interesting or more actionable parts of the smaller one, right? And I just worked in little clumps at a time when it came to shading. I can kind of show you my process. I'll typically pick like some kind of really bright color, right? And then I'll start drawing out kind of the anatomy that I'm looking for. And then from there, I'll kind of start closing it up a little bit, refining it, and then I put the base coat of whatever color it is. And then I start adding highlights to kind of start shaping what it is that I'm trying to make. You know, like say this guy has a poncho, so you can kind of see the poncho and the seam of the poncho there. The hands kind of go inside of it. It's really hard to tell at this stage, right? But then when you start adding color, then you can start seeing it. And then you can see like, okay, there's a face there. And it just starts out as colors. Eventually, you know, you start shading. You make the lighter parts lighter. And when you do that, you have to just imagine that there's like light here, you know? Like put a light somewhere and imagine it's shooting light across. You can also look like in the mirror, how does light interact with your skin? Where does that line up? And you can start kind of telling where the light's gonna be. And that's kind of my process, right? I start out with chunks. I kind of block out what I want, kind of shape that I want. Because especially when it comes to pixel art and like animation in general, the shape of your character is super important. Like the action. Because that's what is telling everyone that's watching, everyone that's playing, it's telling them what you're doing. So like if you have 100 things on the screen at once, you can't really pay attention to what your player is doing, because if it gets all muddled and it's not very clear what your character is doing, you don't have those nice silhouettes, it gets really difficult. So my advice is start small, do like a blocking path where you just work on shapes, make that silhouette, then you start filling in with colors for specific types of things, and then you finally end with shading and use references. That's my advice. Does that help at all? I hope it does. All right, so now back to this guy. What are we gonna do with him? Well, I think we should probably finish the idle animation like this. The question is the arms. What should I do about those? Well, I can give you guys a little bit of a top secret information. At the beginning of the game. Oh, thanks, Journey to Skills. I hope it made sense. Awesome. Well, Donovo, I hope that it does help you. If you join the Discord, I'd love to see your art. We have a art channel called the Artist Realm. You can post your art, stuff like that. I'd love to see it. So, at the very beginning of the game, our character won't actually have his arms. Like he'll have his upper arm right here, his bicep, tricep area, and shoulders. But right here where the yellow band is, that's where he won't actually have that. It's because, I don't know if you guys have followed kind of the explanation of kind of when the story is set, but AI is kind of like experimenting with humans, and so he is like their first experiment to trying to put like the AI in his brain. And they severed his arms and like did a bunch of different tests. And so to actually get your arms back, you have to find them in this place that you wake up after an attack, and you have to like attach them because they've made these modifications. So that's kind of like the lore behind the start of the game. Now we're gonna have them on a separate layer, and what that allows us to do is that if there's ever a speedrunner that finds a way, some kind of hack to get out of the starting area, they can make videos on how to beat the game without any hands. I think that'd be hilarious. I think that'd be awesome. I can imagine it right now. So that's kind of what I want to, kind of what I would like to see, is being able to find a way to do that. And so using layers, it'll allow us to kind of create that possibility. Exactly, no hands run. That's what I'm talking about. So we'll see. We'll see. But the layers, it allows us to actually do that because we can just check for a variable in the future. Like, they won't be able to pick up weapons if they don't have hands. So it'll be like, has hands, and if you don't have hands, then you can't pick up the weapon. It makes it super easy, and if has hands is true, then you have that animation layer. But if not, you don't, and so you wouldn't have hands. And it'll make it so much easier than hard coding everything. That's what I'm trying to do. You want your game to be hacked. You know, I think it would be a sign of it'd be an honor for my game to be hacked. To be modded or whatever. I think that'd be awesome. Because then, you know, that cements my game in like more of a, like, this is a real game type of deal. Like, people actually want to spend time playing it, and I think that's just awesome. Now, with all these modifications, I think kind of we need to, gonna have to move everything a little bit more to the side by 1 pixel, I think. Oops. Yeah, I think that looks more centered along this line. But if you guys were wondering, that's why we have actually this little visor thing. Because he technically doesn't have eyes. This is like an implant that the robot AI stuff put in the experiments. Now, what is that going to allow him to do that's special? I haven't decided yet, but I'm sure it'll be something. That might be the explanation why you can actually see like a map screen, you know? It's trying to find ways to make things diegetic inside the world. Yeah, so I really like the legs. I think this is exactly what we needed. We still have Mr. Jacket over there. This is what I was working on earlier. Diegetic. Yes, so diegetic means that it makes sense within the world. So in most games, menus, map screens, things like that, they are not diegetic. Yeah, immersive. Exactly. So like you can hear in movies, a great example of diegetic is the music. So in some movies, you'll just hear music, you know, in the background of the movie, and that's non-diegetic. But when you see that transform and someone take off headphones and the music kind of like slows, like is dampened a little bit, and it sounds like it's coming from headphones, that's diegetic. It means it exists in the real world. It's like it exists in that space. So a map screen that's diegetic would be like maybe some kind of holographic image from the visor or something like that. That would make it diegetic, meaning that it's a real thing inside the world. That's you know, that's what I would love, is to have a fully diegetic game, like all the menus exist in real world. I can't remember what game it was. I think it was one of the space games. I think something Protocol, where on the back of the character, there's like a tank, and that tank was actually their life bar. So instead of having like hearts at the top, they had like a bar on their back that was like this tank of like rejuvenation juice or whatever, and it kept them alive. And so as that tank went down, that's how you could gauge your health. And I thought that was Dead Space. Okay, yeah, I knew it was one of the space games. I just couldn't remember which one. I think that's awesome. Trying to do a similar thing for both of your projects. Nice. Visual novel, very cool. It's going all right. No clue what you'll do for the other one though. What's the other project? One's a visual novel. Are they both visual novels, or? Because that sounds pretty cool. All right, I'm just trying to set these layers up so that we can actually like put it throughout. All right, we need to remove all of this. Oops. Oh, I guess it's on the, is it on the torso? It's on the head. What? I forgot I did that. All right, so one of them is a visual novel. And then Metroidvania. A mix of Hollow Knight, Skyward Sword, Stardew Valley. Huh. That's pretty interesting. Interesting. So when you say a mix of those things, of those games, of Hollow Knight, Skyward Sword, and Stardew Valley, they're a bit different. So what is like, do you have any ideas on what specifically from each of those games are you gonna try to like emulate? You know, I started playing Hollow Knight and I am yet to finish it, unfortunately. I just, you know, it got pretty difficult there for a little bit. I'm in the I think the last place I was is in the sewers, the royal sewer thing. I beat that one boss where he like dashes to the ground. It was like, oh, this is so difficult. Trying to darken this other shoulder because it's further away, so to kind of match the rest of this. I think that worked. Does it look weird that it's just the chest that's bobbing up and down? Let's run it at normal speed here. What do you guys think? Should I change the way that the breathing works? Should I add a little bit of leg movement? Because in real life, like if you're breathing, you're not really moving your legs. But in real life, you rarely are gonna breathe like this either. It's gonna be a lot more subtle. So I'm not really sure. I'm really trying to... Okay, there's something flickering actually. Hold on, let's fix that. I'm really trying to make this game as, in a sense, realistic, but at the same time, like, I know that there's certain things that we need to not have realistic. Donovo, you think the chest works? Okay, I'm glad. I think it does too. There's that fine line between over exaggeratedness, which some of it is needed for a game, and then there's also like the realism. I want mine to be like a little more real and like feel like it's a real world. That's kind of the whole ideas behind the last devlog of the tiles. Goblin Growl, a series of floating islands, and the land itself has entirely shattered. Very cool. Insert plot device here. That's nice. The gameplay is mostly standard Metroidvania stuff. That sounds awesome. I'd love to play that. That sounds cool. You know, that actually reminds me, I haven't finished Skyward Sword either. And I've never played Stardew Valley. But Metroid, you know what? I haven't even finished Metroid Dread. Maybe I'm one of those people. I just can't finish a game. I'm realizing this as we're talking. Puzzle solving, hidden locations, and whatnot. The story itself has multiple possible endings, and also for gameplay within safe zones is more akin to Stardew Valley with NPC schedules, farming, crafting, etc. It's also heavily influenced by Bloodborne and a tiny bit by Bot W. Breath of the Wild. Yeah. My game is heavily influenced by Breath of the Wild. Also, I don't know if you guys remember this. In 2017, and I think it was E3, there was a game revealed called The Last Night. And it looked so cool. And it was right when I had this idea. I wanted to, make this game. And originally, Ranger was not at all this. It was going to be a 3D murder solving action adventure. And it was ridiculous, the idea. But It'd be pretty cool if someone could pull it off. But the last night was pixel art, and it looks so cool that I was like, you know what? I should probably look into pixel art. Like, could I make a pixel art game? And so then that's kind of what drove me to what we have today. So the core theme is sacrifice and whatever ends people, or what are the ends that people are willing to go for their goals and those they love. Nice. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Sounds like a cool concept. Yeah, thank you. No, yeah, yours sounds really, really cool. I really want to see that. That would actually be really, really cool. All right, so we're just gonna fix this shoulder really quick, and then we'll be on our way here. We could probably bring this back into Unity once we'll separate them. We'll separate them, and then we'll bring them back into Unity probably. All right, this one is missing one. Oops. No worries, Goblin Growl. Love the breathing animation so far. Thank you. Character reminds you of Dead Cells. Thank you very much. That's super nice. I think that's a great character design. I think they really... Wait, let's see. Let's just... Yeah, let's do that. All right, that should do it. We also have to fix the visor. I noticed on one of the frames, it's the darker red that we are trying to go for. Okay, that makes sense. Thanks. Yeah, I think Dead Cells, I've never played it, but it looks really awesome. And I think that character was really well designed. One of the challenges that I gave myself for this game, I mean, the main challenge was I have to do everything myself. So like the music, the art, the mechanics, everything is myself. But then also I wanted to make everything like true pixel art by hand. Like I didn't want to model a character. I know Dead Cells, they made a model and then they pixelized it, which I think is really cool. A great idea to do that. But for my game, I wanted to really focus on the handcrafted aspects of it. And so that's why I would always get kind of carried away in the past about like, oh, I want to do like procedural generation, or I want to do this, I want to do that. But I realized like, you know what? My original goal was just to make a handcrafted game where everything was like I made at some point in time. And I think that's a really cool thing. And so that kind of reminds me to stop working on stuff that I'm not gonna end up implementing, because sometimes like I'll go off on like a tangent. I'll find some kind of snippet of code that actually explains something that I was looking for like a year ago. I'm like, oh, now I can finally implement it. And then I realized, wait a minute, no, this isn't even going to be in the main game. Why am I focusing on this? So I guess I just went on a tangent right now. But I think that's one thing, is like, you have to remember what your game's about, why you're making your game, and stick to it, because otherwise it'll never get complete. You'll keep, feature creep is gonna set in. Honestly, it kind of ruined a bit of the magic when I learned that it was essentially 3D models with an extremely advanced pixel art filter with small individual modifications in dead cells. So, props. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if it ruined necessarily my idea of it. Again, I never played it, so I wasn't necessarily attached to it in any way, but I think it's really cool. I like technology, so I think it's really cool they thought of that. I like technology, problem solving. So I was like, oh, they thought of that. That's awesome. That's great. But I definitely think that it's a different feeling when you actually like hand drew your assets. So that's what I'm trying to stick to. I really don't want to use like 3D objects in the game, even though I can. The camera, a few devlogs ago, we worked on the smooth pixel camera where we can zoom in and out and everything's pixelated. And that was kind of just to allow for the possibility of maybe one day having having 3D objects if I ever needed it. That way it would already be a possibility. And I'm glad I have that possibility, but I really think I'd rather not use it. I would prefer everything be fully 2D and fully pixel art. Like, I still love the game, but I don't know, it definitely altered it a bit for me a bit. It's still a great game though. Highly innovative of them. Yes, I think so too. I always find it interesting watching like some of those postmortems from GDC. Like, one thing early in development that I started trying to work on was, I think it's, what was it called? Notia? I forget what the game was called, but it was pretty much pixel simulation, where it's like every single pixel was simulated. It could blow up. Water was like individual pixels. And it would, anyway, so I watched that postmortem like 3 times because I wanted that for Ranger when I was on one of those tangents where I wasn't really focusing on my original goal, just because it was so cool. I was like, oh, if my game has that, it'd be so cool. But yeah, so I did a lot of experiments with that. That was difficult. Never got it to work, so thankfully I just dropped it. Noita. Okay. Yeah, that's probably it. Now, how do we feel about this pixel right here? Right in between the stomach and the other arm. Does that make sense? If I add a pixel there, I feel like it would make the arm look like it's just massive. No? What do you guys think? One above the gap? I feel like that makes him look like super small arms though. It's kind of like a little too different compared to this massive arm here. Yeah, just fill it in. Yeah, I think it's all right. I think we can do that. All right, let's take a look. That should pretty much do it for this. A shade darker for those two. That's actually the darkest shade that we have on the character palette. I don't really want to add a new color for that. Definitely looks better with it filled in. Thanks. All right. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Now, question is, what about this leg here? I just noticed this. Should we have it like more of an angle? Like, oops. Like, oh, okay, hold on. Technical difficulties there. Something like that, where it's more of an angle, or that, where it's more of like a shape. Don't really know how to explain that one. Yeah, it is a shade darker in general, but it caps out at this one. So pretty much what I just did is I replace the lighter one that would be normal with the darker one. So usually this is like the darkest for most of the areas. I break it, I break those rules a few times here, which I think don't need to be broken. So we might be able to just do that, and that actually looks better, I think. So the only place we break that rule is where it's like showing kind of the ribs, or like not ribs at this point. He's too muscular for showing ribs, but the lats and the six pack. So that's kind of like the design philosophy I've been using. But kind of what I'm focusing on now is just like really trying to make everything work together. That way we can start building from like a solid foundation of what things are supposed to look like. Also might help the arms look more evenly matched if you were worried about it. If you make the belly button 1 pixel smaller, allowing a bit more back arm to be seen. Interesting. Yeah, let's try it. So if we do that, kind of like that. You know what? I'm not like a huge fan of that. I don't know. What do you guys think? I kind of prefer the other one. I don't know now. Makes them look a little bit more chiseled. What if, hold on, maybe it's just placement that is the problem. We do that. That actually might look better. Yeah, I think that works. I think that is probably the best. Yeah, so kind of like, hold on, oops, something like that, maybe like that. I think that works ish. Bring this down. You work at a small scale, usually take your suggestions with a grain of salt. No, I think this is good. I think I did need to experiment with that a little bit. So let's kind of see the before and after. So this is kind of before. It's true he's a little bit larger. It does kind of give him that idea, like the idea that he does kind of have a stomach, which is kind of contradictory to the abs there. So it actually makes it look like it's like a square coming out of his stomach, which is kind of weird. Or this one where the stomach's pretty flat. Question is, should I have made it like this? Or should I have maybe done like that? You know? Add a bit more lighter color to the boxers so that it is one connected line without the little gap, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So kind of like that is what you're saying. Maybe that. Actually, we could probably go one down like that. I do like this leg better. And I do think this makes a little more sense. It works when he slouches or breathes. Still breathing, yeah. So that could be built into the breathing when he breathes in and when he breathes out. It could. Might make it a little too exaggerated though, so we'll have to see. Yeah. Now, how does the arm look when we do that? Does it make the arm look good? Let's see. Actually, what I'm gonna do is bump this all the way to max. I'm gonna make everything just dark. Oops. Guess I forgot. I need at least. There we go. Oops. Now the reason I'm doing this is so that we can really see See the silhouette, you know? Does the silhouette make sense? That's the question. Or should the silhouette be more like that? Maybe. Maybe he needs a little bit of a larger shoulder. All right, let's bring it back to what it was. If we bring this down a bit to like there. I think maybe bring the front shoulder down a bit and it'll match a bit more. So you mean this one? I mean down like that. So this is where it was. Bring it like that. Well, I think that here what it's kind of doing, and I think it's important that it does. So I think it's good where that specific shoulder is look at these lines that it's kind of creating. It's kind of creating that line across the pec, right? And it's kind of like recreating that line here. Oh, out to the left, not down. Just adding a bit more shoulder, make it bigger. Because the back shoulder is a bit more bulked up. Yeah, let's see. I think that the main thing is the perspective of it. I think they are pretty similar in the sense that if you're looking at your arm like this, right? You kind of see, here, let me get it framed. You kind of see like the flat face of your shoulder, which is kind of what's happening right here. But if I were to go completely to the side, you would see like the shoulders extruding just a little bit. And that's what I was trying to kind of like work on here, is make it extrude just a bit. But at the same time, you're right. We need to make sure that it looks plausible. The back arm should be a little smaller. So maybe keeping it like this is better. I think that, I think that makes sense. I think that's good. I think the way we had it was good. The real question is this left arm good enough? You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of hanging there. Do we want it to be doing something? This is just the idle pose, so it shouldn't really be doing much. Yeah, like that. Sorry, no worries. Yeah, I think that's good. I really like the legs that we just made. I think it makes so much more sense than what we had before with like the leg coming out. And you couldn't really tell where the legs began and ended and all that. So I am super happy about this. And now that we have this, we can use that as a template for all the future clothing. clothing options and the boots and all that jazz. That's great, just hanging there for idle. You could also extend idles like how in older games such as Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64, after idling they'd switch to something else like sleeping or whatever. In this case, maybe checking hologram of the map, small handheld device. Yes, so yeah, exactly. The little, I forget what they're called, but they're like attention something. I forget exactly the technical term, but yes, like different idols. I'm planning on having multiple different idols that play kind of randomly depending on how much time he's just sitting there. But you know, your suggestion just gave me an idea, and I think that might be what I'm looking for. Where in the idol, instead of just going up and down, his left arm will sway a little bit, just back and forth, just a tiny bit, just 1 pixel. But I think that would be just enough to make it look more real. So I'm gonna finalize this design right here. I think that's the keeper. And we're gonna go through each one and kind of just fix it. Oops. That is the one thing about working on layers, that you have to go through every single layer to make the change. Or like you can copy it over, but then the breathing animation wouldn't exist. It's not too difficult though. All right, now I fix this. Now, something that's cool is that we're starting to use reanimator, which is made by Aarthificial. You guys know who that is. If you don't know who that is, that's a YouTuber game dev also that works a lot on creating tools, which are just really cool. And actually, I just realized, what if it's a little bit lower? Should be lower or higher? The belly button, that is. What do you guys think? Higher. Okay. Yeah, we'll keep it like that. All right, that makes sense. Everything is going the way it should be. What is that? Oh, never mind. That was that was my cursor. Okay. We can. All right, we want to bring that down a little bit. So let's. All right, we need to go one more. Okay, yeah. First third of the torso varies person to person. No, yeah, that makes sense. I think it does look better like this. Now the last question is it actually better? Is it better like this or with that one pixel hanging down? I think that might actually be better without the pixel hanging down. All right, and then we're gonna fix this too. Okay, good. And then this. All right, we've got a few stray pixels here. Need to clean those up. Oh, this arm here. There we go. That makes more sense. All right, now the visor should be the darker color. There we go. Oh no, I forgot. Head moves. All right. Okay, how's that look? Nope, there's still somewhere right there. Okay, so that's good. Looks good. All right, thanks. I think it does. I think that's pretty much it for this animation. Oh, I almost forgot the arms. That's right. So we've got almost everything. I'm thinking on the up, right? At the very top, I mean, those frames. So right there, we'll grab the arm. We'll just move it. We'll see what it does. We'll see. Maybe it won't be that great, but maybe it could be amazing. Wait, is that? Oh, it did it for all of them. Hold on. Wait, it moved all of them again. Why is it doing that? There we go. It might look too straight. All right, and then right as that goes up there, this will go in one. Swing back a bit further. That's true. Let's just see what this gives us, and then we'll probably switch it. Yeah, it not quite. All right, let's undo all of that. Hi the nerd. Hi the story nerd. I was about to say the nerdy story. Welcome to the chat. Animation work is surprisingly fun to watch. Yeah, I think so. I enjoy watching other people work on their animations. It's I don't know. I've always loved animation. I went to school to learn 3D animation. I learned 2D animation too, so that helps a lot when I'm working on this. So maybe what we should do is figure out if we want any animation here in this arm. Oh, my Google Home just went off. Thinks I'm talking to it. Do we want any animation in the arms? That's the question. How simplistic do we want it? How... I don't know why my Google Home is just going crazy. Slight swing in the arms. Yeah, okay. So yeah, that I think we can all agree then that the arms should swing a little bit. So let's kind of plan out that movement. I'm gonna create another layer here. I guess this layer is created for us already. I'm gonna grab our bright. Okay, so this one I think is when we start going back a little bit. kind of like that. Something like that. And then that's when we're at the max. That's a little too much. Thanks, Goblin Growl. See you later. All right, once we pop up, it should actually be back to normal, and then start swinging very slightly out like that. And then even further, like that. And then back again. And then it'll be back to what it should be. And then it'll start swinging out like that. Even further. Comes back in a little bit. And it's back to normal. Starts going up. Hold on. Let's actually start swinging the arm. Let's just take the arm in. Let's mark out the top and the bottom. Should be 6 and 12 should be the top and bottom. So top, when you go up, you swing your arm back, I think. When you go down, it's back in. So let's grab this arm. We just hit top. We go there, there. Okay. And then 9 is going to be the crescendo. It's gonna be the very topmost part. So like that. So 9 is gonna be the furthest back it's gonna go. And then 12 should be, actually I guess 6 and 12. What happens to 12 again? Oh, it's 4 and 8, it seems. Or 4 and 9. Interesting. Okay, so at 12, or at 9, it should actually be starting this way. Back to normal, and then this would start the up and then the down. Okay. So at 6, it should actually be just normal. All right, so let's redo this. Okay, so 6 is normal. But right after that, we start slightly moving it back. Just a little bit. Oops. Why is it taking part of the body? It should only be... Okay, yeah, there we go. Arm movement looking pretty good so far. Thank you. We're hopefully going to make it a little bit better. Actually, this one is supposed to come in a little bit. Like that. Very good. This one a little bit further. This one will be the furthest. And then it goes back to 12, which will be normal. 6 is normal. That means that 9, once we go down, it's the furthest out. Okay. Now at 12, we're going to start going back. Yeah, I think it was the wrong layer earlier when I was moving it around. All right, so 3 should be the... I guess technically 4 should be the maximum. All right, so it's a little rough right now, but it kind of gets that swaying idea, the idea in our minds, right? Of the sway. Is it too much? It might be too much. I think it might be too much. Gets the vibe, you could say. Yeah? Yeah, so like smoothing it out a little bit. Yeah, I think the way I would do that is instead of, so right now it's 1 is first, 2. I think I would just have 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 would be the same frame, and then 1, 2, or no, so 1, 2, then it would hold on 3, then 4, 5 would be going back, 6 would be 0, then it'd be 1, 2, hold, 3, 4, So it's pretty much what we're doing right now, except I wouldn't go further back. I would just hold. So it'd be a little slower and not as far back. But I do like the swing. I think that's a good touch. And then we could have just a very much slighter sway of the back arm, which is what we were working on earlier. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I'm really happy with, we were able to create the legs and all that. Hold on, my tablet's about to, oops. My tablet's about to die. Let me grab it. There we go. Okay, one thing I want to show you guys too is this guy. All right, so this is pretty much in my game. Yeah, dead tablets are no good for sure. That is true. All right, so one thing about my game is that I want the light to actually dictate the sprite shading. So a lot of times in games, you'll just have, you'll shade it once, like this, and then even if the light is on this side, this is the light, it still looks like the light is coming in from this side, So in my game, what I want to do is actually have two variants of every single animation, which is a lot of work, but pretty much it would invert the colors so that you see now it's behind the player. The light is coming from behind the player. So it's just inverted of this. I think it works. So once we have the idle animation fully done, sprite artist crying right now. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of work, but once we have the basis set, then I can go in and just do all the variations. Thank you. Yeah, it's a big project, but I think it's gonna work. I think we'll make it. I'm pretty excited. Is there anything else I wanted to show you guys inside of Unity? I'm trying to remember. We're gonna have to separate. I don't know if you were here earlier, the story nerd, but what we were working on, or what I was showing, is how if we click play, so we've got our character that is currently, the sprite animation, but then we have this guy right here, which is actually multiple sprite renderers layered together to create the animation. And so what I'm going to be doing is separating all of the body parts so that I can create this layering system. And that means that I can do less drawing, in the sense where in the same, like let's say that the chest torso is going to be idle, even if the legs are doing something else, I can now do that and send it different animations. I can also have it like, if you have a weapon, what will that change? Well, it'll change the arms, so I don't have to change everything else. And that'll save me a lot of time on drawing. It'll also allow for a lot of variation and customization of clothing, which then players will be able to, get all of that. Yeah, and well, even in the code, thankfully we have reanimator or reanimation that aarthificial made. And so all we have to do is export, once we export all of the art with the individual body part that it is, or clothing piece, we'll just have a folder with all of the, that specific part. And all of the animations will pretty much have the same tree, it's just a different node. So it'll just be the arms idle and the whatever else idle. And then it will, in the code, just send out, depending on what action, you know, it'll send out a variable that will then control the rest of it. So it shouldn't be too difficult. It'll just, you know, it'll take a little bit of time setting it up initially. Once it's up and running, just like the art, once it's up and running, we have a system, it'll go really smoothly. You use Game Maker Studio? Or planning to use Game Maker Studio? Yeah, for now. Nice. One thing, I don't know how long you've been checking out the game for, or if you've seen any of the previous devlogs, but the main mechanic of my game is the ability to actually jump into the background. So there's going to be a total of 4 layers, the frontmost layer plus 3 in the back, and then in between there'll be plenty of decoration layers. So it's going to be a lot of art. The idea is that the world's going to feel very lived in, but also with a lot of depth. So that's kind of the project. The project is huge, but I'm just focusing on the art right now for the player animations. Once we have that, then we'll be all set. There's also going to be variations for like these slope pieces, which are going to be, you know, stairs or sand dunes, things like that. All of that will be affecting the animation that plays. So like it'll have the idle body, but the legs will be matching the slope so that it looks like, you know, everything's looking right. I don't know. It'll be cool. You came on in the devlog where you're fixing layering. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think that was for the depth episode. A lot of people found that episode. 5,000 plus views, which is pretty incredible. Not sure what exactly made that one blow up, because my last video didn't really blow up. It kind of did just on par for previous videos. But it has like better statistics overall, like a better ratio of most of the statistics that I know YouTube is looking for. So I was kind of surprised that it didn't do as good or better. But sometimes I guess they just send it out randomly. Are there going to be any enemies who can also layer switch? Yes. Yes. There's going to be NPCs, animals, enemies. All of them will be able to, well, most of them will be able to switch layers. And I think that's going to also be a lot of interesting stuff when it comes to stealth and combat, as well as puzzles. There'll be a lot of interesting puzzles to do. There might be some interesting NPC combat, like together against enemies, where you're on 2 different layers and you're kind of like doing a pincer on a bad guy in the middle layer. I think that'd be pretty cool. We're not quite ready yet, but we will be. Just 1 pixel at a time. That's, I guess that's my motto. All right, but guys, thank you so much for watching. It is just about 9 o'clock. And so that's kind of the end of the live stream. I think we did a lot. I'm just going to show what we did again. We worked on the legs, fixed a bit of the animation, changed the torso a little bit, made it a little better. And so with this as a template, I'm going to fix up the animations a little bit. The next devlog 12, is all about animations and player controls. So making it feel like a real game that's fun. So for the next few devlogs, we're going to be, the next devlog, but the next few live streams we'll be doing that. So thanks Nerd Story for, or Story Nerd, sorry. Keep getting your name wrong. I'm dyslexic, so I'm just keep putting the words backwards. But yeah, thanks so much. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.